Hope you guys are having an awesome night. All right. My name is Christina Hartzell. I am a Young Living essential oil distributor, and I've been using essential oils for a little over, almost 3 years actually. It'll be 3 years next month. A little bit excited about my oily anniversary. I love using essential oils. Use them on myself, my kids, and my pets, which we're going to be talking about tonight. I have my doggie right here. I'm going to hope she cooperates with us, all right? I've got my treats. I'm tempting her. She's sitting right here staring me down because I have her treat right here in my hand. So I'm trying not to let her run off because I want to let her help me here in a few minutes, all right? I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration for you guys, how I apply oil safely to my dog. So I've taught this class before, several times actually, and usually it comes up whenever someone new is starting to use essential oils, or sometimes it will come up maybe a seasoned person that gets a new pet and wants to know how to use oils on their pet. Well, recently, as most of you know, there was this Facebook post that went viral, and within a amount of about an hour, I had been messaged 5 times because of this Facebook post. Now, I had seen it myself, and it was about this lady who had a cat who got sick. And I'm really, and you know, the lady went to talk about how she'd used essential oils around her cat, and how because of that essential oil, the cat had to go to the vet and was really, really sick, and she explained all this stuff. I'm sure you have seen the post. If you haven't, you're lucky, because I saw it a lot. When I first saw it, my first reaction was a little bit of anger, because there was so much untruth in the whole text of that. My biggest problem with that, and it's the number one thing that stuck out at me, is the lady said she got her oils off Amazon. She didn't say what brand. It could have been any brand, but she said she bought them from Amazon. Guys, I teach and preach essential oil safety all the time, and I teach and I preach brand matters for that very reason. That lady's cat may have very well gotten sick from that bottle of whatever she was using that said eucalyptus on it, because there's no telling what was in that. Because it wasn't pure. There is no regulation on essential oils, guys. That is why I love Young Living. They have the Seed to Seal promise, and they are the only company that has that. That's why I preach safety, and that's why I'm so big on brand and why brand matters. So that was my first thing with that article, was that lady said she got it from Amazon. And the second thing, and I'm going to talk about that when I get into the lesson about safety and how to use oils on your pet safely. The lady talked about she was diffusing it in a bedroom, and I'm assuming it was closed, and the cat was with her and in the bedroom at all times. When you're diffusing around a pet, any pet diffusing, that means in your diffuser, you need to do it in an open room where that pet can willingly leave if they want to. Not because the oil's harmful to them if you're using a pure therapeutic grade oil, but because they need that option. They need to be able to leave if they want to. So, all right, so that's my little spiel on that. And you know what? That lady's cat probably really did get sick, and I am really sorry. I don't want anybody's pet to be sick, but that's why I'm teaching this class, because I want you guys to use these oils wisely. I want you to use them safely, and I want you to use a correct brand, a pure therapeutic grade oil. Do not go to Walmart and buy your oils and then call me whenever you break out with a rash or your pet ends up at the vet, because that's not real. That is not a real oil. That is something they have taken and they've watered it down, or they've put a solvent in it, or rubbing alcohol or something like that. That's why you need to be careful. That's why you need to use a real oil, not something from Amazon, not something from CVS, because that makes a difference. Purity matters, especially on pets. Pets are even more sensitive to things than we are. All right, so I'm going to jump into this now, okay? That's my little preach and spiel on that, okay? Because remember, I got this article 5 times sent to me in private messenger and text messages. So the first thing most people do when they, that's my dog drinking water now because she's had her treat. So the first thing most people do is they get their Young Living starter kit. This is just mine right here, half of it. I got another bottom half over there. So they get their starter kit. And if they have pets in their home and they start researching recipes and they start looking, you know, they maybe get on Essential Rewards and they think, okay, what can I order? What can I use for my pets? What's safe around them? So I think that's probably one of the most asked questions I get, that and children, of course. So I want to begin by saying, like I said, all Ols I'm going to talk about are going to be Young Living specific. They're the only company I trust, the only ones I'll put on myself, my pets, and my kids. Like Young Living has what they call their seed to seal promise. They grow the plants, they harvest them, they distill them, and then they bottle them and send them to you. That's why you don't buy from a third-party seller. You buy from the company. You buy from Young Living or a Young Living distributor. Don't buy on Amazon. Don't buy on eBay. People take the lids off of here and they just dilute the oils and they resell them and sell them for a profit. That's why you have to be careful. Buy from the company, guys. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a lot. I see a lot of people have been cheated and get something that they aren't really getting. So buy from the company. All right. So that's why it matters. That's why brand matters. Quality matters when it comes to essential oils. So like I said, the first thing I get when I get a new person and they're like, oh, I'm using oils, I'm so excited about using essential oils. Can I use them on my pet? So yes, for most pets and most oils are very, very safe on your pet. The biggest thing to remember with essential oils is you always want to dilute them. Dilution is the key. When it comes to kids, when it comes to pets, pets are way more sensitive than we are. So when you use an oil, what you want to do is you want to dilute it with a carrier oil. And I have my puppy here for a demonstration, all right? All I'm going to use is grapeseed oil. So, like you would take a couple drops of grapeseed oil. You don't have to use a dropper. You could do it in a bowl. A couple drops of grapeseed oil. And I just have lavender here, a very mild, safe oil. I'm going to put a couple drops in my hand of it. You're going to rub it together. And this is the easiest, safest way if you were going to apply an oil to a pet. Rub it on your hands like this. Here we go. Okay, come on. And all you do is you just take it and massage it into their fur. And you know what? She gets a massage. She loves it. It's calming and it's safe. It's diluted. It's not hurting her. It's and now my hands are covered in dog hair because I have oil on them, but that's the appropriate way, the safe way if you were going to apply an oil to a pet. All right, there's her other treat. She's sitting there. She's like, okay, I'll let you pet me. Where's my treat? So that is the safe way. You always, always, always want to dilute. Okay, and the oil I put on her was lavender, very calming, safe oil. Okay, so that's the first step. That's how you would apply. One of the ways you could apply it to your pet. Dilute. She's a big German Shepherd, and I diluted for her. I have a little bitty dog that weighs like 10 pounds. You're going to want to dilute even more for them. Smaller pets dilute. Cats dilute even more. All right? I'm going to get into why in just a minute. So, for a small animal, small dog, cat, exotic, you would take a mixture of 1 drop of essential oil to 9 drops of carrier. So 9 drops of that carrier that I just had to 1 drop essential oil for a small pet. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to mix it up, and then you're going to take 2 to 3 drops of that mixture, and that would be what you would apply to them. So you're diluting it even more for a smaller pet. All right? For cattle, horses, or elephants, and if you have a pet elephant, I want to come see it. But for cattle, horses, elephants, very, very large animals like that, you wouldn't dilute at all. What you're going to do is you're going to take that oil, you're going to open their lip, and you put it inside their lip. I would like to see my grandpa try to put an oil inside of his cow's lip. But you can do it, and you can do it safely, all right? So for larger animals, you wouldn't dilute, and that would be where you would apply for the most benefit, okay? And guys, I forgot to tell you, this big book right here, this was written by a panel of veterinarians. You see this? I read this book front to back before I taught my first class on this whole book. And it goes through animal, pet by pet, breed, specific things like that. It goes through it all. And I read that. And this was written by a panel of vets. And the oils they talk about are Young Living specific, like I said. And so I wanted to know whenever I was teaching this, and I was telling people that I was doing it the right way, that I was teaching them the safe way, okay? All right. So, like I said, with pets, you want to start small and use in moderation. I think the biggest problem that lady found with her pet, with that cat, and other than the oil being from Amazon, and we don't know what was in it. We have no idea what in the world she was diffusing and she was breathing in, or that cat was breathing in. But this is my biggest thing. With that cat, she had them in a room. And with that cat in a room and that diffuser going, it had no way out of the room. Whenever you're diffusing an essential oil for the first time around any pet, you need to do it in an open room where that pet can leave willingly if they don't like the smell or if it's just something they don't want to be around. My dog's sitting right here beside me because she thinks I have more treats, and my diffuser's going right there. My small dog will crawl up in the chair beside my diffuser. They'll lay beside him all the time. I have them going all in my house, but they always have a way to get away from them. They're never in a shut bedroom door with the diffuser going. That's the big deal. That's the big difference. You don't want to trap them in. You want to keep it open. So if they don't like the smell of it, they can leave. I always tell this story, and it's kind of funny because cats are kind of known not to like citrusols, but my dog, my big dog, I use lemon oil to clean their bowls. Lemon oil will cut the gunk out of a pet bowl quicker than anything. I've used dish soap back before I started using oils. I used Dawn, and the dog bowls will still have that slimy kind of feel to them. I drop a lemon in there, and it gets them so clean. So I would use lemon oil to clean my dog's water bowls with. And I started watching her and noticing she wouldn't go to her metal water bowl after I cleaned it. And I thought, what is wrong with her? You know, I cleaned them and all of that. And I was like, what is wrong with her? Why wouldn't she drink out of that? And Donna, yes, the whole video will be posted after. So I just was like, what is her deal? And it wasn't that the lemon oil hurt her. She didn't like the smell of it. You know what I did? I started cleaning their bowl with orange oil or citrus fresh. She has no problem with it. She just didn't like the smell of the lemon. When I diffuse lemon, she just don't like the smell of it. She'll go lay in the other room, which is kind of funny because I realize that's what I have going now, and she just left because I don't have any more treats. So that's just not an oil she prefers the smell of. It's not harmful to her, but I give her a way out. I said treat, so she came back. So that is something you really have to be careful about with pets. Give them a way out with anything. Use common sense, guys, all right? And you always want to consider the pet size and their hair density. The density of their hair follicles can change the uptake of an essential oil. If their hair is really coarse, you know this just from being a pet owner. If their hair is really coarse, it's really different than another pet whose hair is really fine. And you treat it differently when you bathe them, when you brush them. If you have a dog whose hair is really long and you have to have it groomed, you treat that different than a cat who has short, fine hair. So you have to know that about your pet. You have to know about the density of their hair because that's going to mean how fast they absorb the essential oils. Our skin, when we put an oil on our skin, it's found within our bloodstream within 26 seconds. Their hair follicles, I mean, we aren't covered in fur like a dog or a cat, but when we put it on their skin, their hair follicles uptake that essential oil just as fast, all right? So you have to think about that. So here's some quick do's and don'ts, and I'm going to talk a little bit about pets, specific pets like cats, dogs, birds, that sort of thing, okay? Don't ever use an essential oil near their eyes, near their nose, inside their mouth, or down into their ears. You need to be very careful about getting down into their ears. With dogs, now I have a big German Shepherd and her ears stick up like this, and they, sometimes they'll get ear mites, things like that. You can use an essential oil to help prevent some of that, or if they need some extra skin support on the inside of their ears, but you never ever want to drop it down into their ear canal. You would put it on a cotton ball, on a rag, and dab it on their ear, not down into their ear, okay? All right. So another quick don't is when you apply a citrus oil, just like, yes, Donna, coconut oil, you wouldn't want to get down into their ears. You could put it on the tops of them. You could put it around the edges of them, but not down into their ear canal because that can be dangerous with anything. You don't want to put stuff down deep into their ears. All right, does that make sense? Citrus oils. When we don't want to put a citrus oil on ourselves because they're photosensitive and they attract the sun, the same things go for a pet. You don't want to put a citrus oil on their fur. Diffuse it. Another great way to use an oil around a pet is spritz it like this. And I'm going to talk about some ways to do that in a minute. If you do, my dog came over because she likes that. My dogs are weird because I don't, some people they'll teach their pets, not to do things and spray them when they're bad. My dogs are used to getting sprayed because I spray them when they go in and out. So she came over here to stand in it because she likes it because it's cool. So that's another really good way to apply an oil to a pet is spritzing them. So let's see, I lost my train of thought here. All right, citrus oils. Don't apply directly to their skin. Diffuse them, all right? Do not use hot oils without heavy dilution. And when I talk about hot oils, I'm talking about your oils with a high phenol level, such as wintergreen, clove, peppermint, those types of things, thyme. And it's best just to stay away from applying those types of oils to your pet. Don't do it. It's going to make them have a red, itchy area, and they're going to be very uncomfortable. What I'll do, there is a recipe I use for my dogs, for like especially in the summertime, and it's to help with pest control when they go outside. What I'll do is I'll take those nylon collars, and you can soak those collars in essential oils and let them dry for 24 hours. Let them be completely dry before you put that collar back on the pet, or it can still kind of give them a burning sensation. So once that collar is completely dry, then you can put it on them, and they can have the same effects of the essential oils without the oil being on them. Does that make sense? It's kind of like when you wash your clothes in something, your clothes smell, and they can smell for a while. It's the same thing. The oil gets on the collar, they get the benefits of the oil, and they get the protection of the oil without the oil being on them, if that makes sense. So you can apply to the collar, and that's your hot oils, like your thyme, your wintergreen, that sort of thing. If your pet has any history of epileptic seizures or high blood pressure, you need to consult a vet before you use essential oils on them, especially ones with high ketone levels. Basil, rosemary, sage, tansy. Those are the ones you want to watch out for if your pet has a history of that. I know lots of vets, from reading that book, from studying this out, they're all for using essential oils. They're all for it, and they've studied it, and they've used them on their pets. But I always tell people, if that's something your pet has and has a history of that, talk to your vet about it and be smart about it. You can use essential oils on them, just be very smart about it, okay? Okay, and like I said, never put oils in their ear canals. Alrighty, let's see. I think I skipped something here. Okay. Do's. Do dilute heavily. Say that 3 times fast. You always want to start small and use in moderation. All right? Watch how your pet responds to an oil. Like my dog, when I was cleaning her bowl with that lemon, and she just didn't like the smell. Lemon doesn't hurt her. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a lemon that's going to hurt a pet, but she just didn't like the smell. She just is not one of her favorite smells. So I watched her. She wasn't drinking normally from her water bowl, and so I switched and I started cleaning it with something else, and there's no problem. So that's something you just need to be aware of. Watch your pet. How do they respond when you do something? Another way to kind of get them used to an essential oil, put it on yourself. If they come up to you and they're rubbing all over you and they're, being their normal self with you, then obviously they don't have a problem with it. All right? So just kind of be aware of that. Watch how your pet responds to it. One of my favorite quotes from a Young Living lady, her name is Jen O'Sullivan. I read a lot of her books, and she's an aromatherapist. And she says, essential oils are not pharmaceuticals and should not be treated as such, meaning each oil can have 100 different uses, and how my body responds and how your body responds, how my pet responds is all going to be totally different. I may love Valor. Valor is one of my favorites. I might love it and use it bottle by bottle by bottle, and I need it. But someone else may not even care for it, may not even like the smell of it. And I may use it for one thing, and it may work great for me for that, but not for someone else. Essential oils are not pharmaceuticals, guys. You can use a bottle of lavender and turn around in 5 minutes and use something else for the same problem, and you're not going to overdose yourself. It's not the same thing. You can use essential oils in conjunction with pharmaceuticals and not risk an overdose. All right? It's all about knowledge and knowing how to use them correctly and knowing what they're for and knowing that they're not pharmaceuticals and that you should treat them that way. You should treat them correctly and use them correctly. Does that make sense? All right, you guys hanging with me? Am I just rambling like crazy here? So, all right. And like I said, always consider the pet size and hair density. We talked about that. Yep, Donna, like you in purification. Purification and Donna just don't mix. So exactly, just like that. Cats. So I don't talk about cats. Now this is the big subject here lately, cats. And I saw a post and it cracked me up, and it's like, are essential oils going to wipe out the cat population? Are they going to just destroy the cats? And the lady was joking and not meaning it harmful and not being ugly about it. But then I saw she got some really ugly responses. And she was meaning it as a joke, as, let's be knowledgeable about, and let's use our head about this. Let's, think this through here, okay? So, cats, always dilute. I don't ever want to see you getting a bottle of oil. I don't care if it's lavender. I don't care if it's an oil from the pet line that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Dilute for your cats. Your cats need dilution when you put oil on them. Got it? Dilute, okay? And the way you dilute is a carrier oil. This is grapeseed. It's one of my favorites to use. You can use olive oil. You can use coconut oil. Always dilute before you apply to a cat, okay? Avoid most citrus oils when applying to their skin. Monitor how they respond when they come in a room. For whatever reason, cats tend to shy away from citrus oils. They just don't like them. Don't know why, they just don't. One of my favorite ways to apply essential oil for a cat, and I talked about spritzing earlier, where you spray, right? So, one of the best ways to apply an oil for a cat, what cats like to do, they like to scratch. And 90% of them have a scratching post or their favorite place to scratch. If they're an outside cat, like a tree or somewhere like that, you know they always scratch. So what you can do, take your oil and mix it in some water. This is Thieves Cleaner, by the way. It's just what I had handy in a spray bottle. So what you can do is you take your spray bottle and you spritz their scratching post. You spray it. So when that cat goes to claw onto their scratching post, what are they doing? They're exposing themselves to essential oils, but in a diluted way, in a safe way, where they're not going to be harmed from an overdose of oils, so to speak, if that's a thing. But you see, they're applying it safely. They're scratching it. You can spray their bedding, so you're not actually spraying them. I don't think cats like to be sprayed with water like my crazy dog does, but you can spray their bedding when they lay down. Then they're getting the smell of it, just like like when you get the smell of your sheets when you lay down at night. It's the same effect, okay? And again, you always want to watch how they respond to that. If you spray their bedding and you notice they're not laying on it so much, maybe they just don't like the smell of that oil. Maybe it's not something they like to be around. So change it up. Try something different. If they don't like lavender, try Peace and Calming. My dog, I put lavender on her a few minutes ago when I showed you how to apply, and she's over there knocked out on the floor sound asleep. I mean, it didn't take long, and she loves it. She loves that massage. That's another way you can do it with a cat. Take that oil, put a lot of drops, remember cats, more dilution, drops of the carrier oil in the palm of your hand, add the oil, then you're going to rub it into your hands pretty good. And what you can do is you can massage that cat. Most cats love to be rubbed. Massage them. Pet them. That way they get that benefit of human interaction that they want, and they get the benefits of the essential oil. All right? So that's how you apply for a cat. Let's see. To dilute for a cat, you want to take 10 drops of a carrier oil to 1 to 2 drops of the essential oil. That's the recommendation out of the Essential Oils Pet Reference, okay? 10 drops of a carrier oil, 1 to 2 drops of an essential oil, okay? You don't have to have a dropper like this and drop, drop, drop. It doesn't have to be an exact science. Pour it in a bowl, add your 2 drops, mix it up, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect unless you're kind of like me, and sometimes it does. So sometimes you have to do it that way. Alrighty, so that's cats. And I do want to mention, when you first get a new cat, or you start using essential oils for the first time, put the oil on yourself and just kind of get them used to it. That is the best way to get a pet used to essential oil. Any pet, put it on yourself and wear it yourself. Okay. Dogs. Okay, you saw me put the oil on my dog a minute ago, and I diluted it for her. Now she's a big 85, I don't even know how much she weighs, probably close to 100-pound German Shepherd. I do still dilute with her 90% of the time, just because I want to be extra cautious with her. I want her not to be harmed by something because I didn't dilute. And the way you get harmed by an essential oil is it gets hot. It feels hot to your skin. I call them essential oil hickeys. I've given myself one several times. I don't apply a carrier oil, and I just put an oil on, and then I've got a big red mark because I put an essential oil on and then I didn't dilute it. So I always try to dilute for my pets. It just works. It's so much safer, okay? So dilute, guys. That's the word for tonight. Dilution is the key, okay? All right. So for dogs, according to the Pets Reference, administering internally is not usually the best option for a dog, because if your dogs are like mine, they don't take things well, and especially if it doesn't taste good. Lavender does not taste good, and trying to get my dog to ingest a lavender would not be the best, and trying to get her to take a pill is not very easy if it's not covered in peanut butter, wrapped in cheese, and almost in bacon to get her to take it, because she just don't like pills. She won't take them. So for her, the best way to apply is to apply it topically, spritz her bedding. And I do that a lot because she's a big dog and she stinks if she goes outside for a little bit. That's why she's so used to being sprayed down. I'll keep a bottle of essential oil and some water in a mixture, and when she comes in and out the door, I spritz her down. And now I've been doing it since she was a puppy, and she loves it. Like, I sprayed the water a minute ago, and she came running in here because she wanted to be sprayed, because she's crazy, because that's how I've taught her. I've taught her that. So that, and she hears me talking about her. So that's a way you can apply to the pet. Spritz them, okay? Massage them. They love that. Like I said, pet them, rub it onto them. Dogs love that. My dogs love that. Be careful of sensitive areas, their bellies. Most dogs don't have as much hair on their belly. If you're going to put an oil on their stomach, dilute even heavier than you would for their back. Same for a cat. I didn't mention that. Their backs are a lot hairier than their bellies, and especially all pets, that's where their chest is. That's where they have very sensitive areas. They're just like us. If we're applying oil to our chest, it's going to burn if you don't dilute it. Same thing for them. Dilute heavier. So if you're diluting 10-to-1 for their back, do it 20-to-1 for the front. Something like that, okay? Because it's even more sensitive. Be careful of their eyes, their ears, their mouth, okay? And I'm just going to mention this because I used to do this all the time. For people, when you put an oil on, you think, okay, let's put it on the bottom of your feet. That's one of the best places to put it, because our feet absorb things so quickly, and you can put hot oils there without dilution because it doesn't, our feet are so strong. And so with dogs, I would think, okay, let's put it on their paws. Guys, that's not the best place to put oil for a dog. According to the Pet Reference and in my studying, the best thing to do if you're going to apply apply an oil to a dog, put it on their back, massage it into their fur like I showed you, like I just did with her. I know you couldn't see well with the camera, but put it on my hands, massage it into her fur. They love that. They get benefits from that, from the essential oil, from you petting them, from that human interaction. Massage it into them. That's the best way to do it, okay? Before I move to the next little pet, I want to talk about this little oil right here. It's called Tea Away. This is a pet-specific oil. This is like the pet version of Stress Away. My big German Shepherd in there, almost 100 pounds, is a big baby when it comes to going to the vet or taking a bath. This stuff right here is awesome. I will add it to their bath water. When I'm giving her a bath, I'll put it in her shampoo. And what don't I say? What about their feet? My cats love to groom. Will it be toxic? Not their paws, but their furry parts on top. No. If you dilute it correctly and they're grooming, it's not going to hurt them at all. That's why, dilute it, it's not going to hurt them. And that's another key thing in using pure essential oils, because these are can be ingested, especially the Vitality line. They can be consumed. They're not going to hurt them. If you're using something real and something pure, it's not going to hurt them when they're licking it off, okay? And that's a really good question. Thanks for asking, okay? So that is something I didn't mention. If you're using something pure and you've diluted it, it's not going to hurt them when they go to lick it off, okay? So, again, this Tea Away, I put it on my dog when she went to the vet, and she was a totally different dog. I told my the receptionist there, I was like, I'm just going to warn you, when she goes back, she gets very anxious. If you have to crate her for anything, she's went to the point before where she is like gnawed a crate somewhere because she gets nervous, not out of meanness. She just gets so scared and nervous. She had cut her face chewing on a crate at, I think that was at PetSmart one time when I took her to get groomed. And so she gets so nervous. So I applied my Tea Away to her, told them, I was like, if you need me, I'm right out here. She just gets really anxious. She was just getting her nails clipped and a shot, so I didn't need to go. I wasn't going back with her. I'm like, okay, if we need you, we'll come get you. We won't have to crate her. So the tech took her back and then brought her back to me. And she's like, Christina, she's a completely different dog this time. She sat, she didn't do anything, she didn't even whine. She let me clip her nails, and that was the difference in calming and soothing, and me taking the time to put this oil on my hands, massage it down her back, talk to her, tell her it was going to be okay, and it calmed her down. Totally different dog. She sat in the waiting room, and people were like, oh, where did you have her trained? She ain't trained. She's crazy. What are you talking about? I mean, she's just sat there being calm. She didn't do anything because she was calm. So that when we go to the vet, this is in my purse, all right? TOA. Remember that. It is a pet-specific oil Young Living has made, already pre-diluted, okay? So, here's a little fun side note, too, for you. Thieves Household Cleaner. This stuff is awesome. If you are giving your pets a bath, not only can you use the pet shampoo, you can also use the Thieves Household Cleaner. And this stuff is great for pest prevention. And when your pet has those little pests that they get in the summertime, you can put that on there in their bath water and it helps get rid of them, okay? I use that on my pets all the time. They have the shiniest, softest coats. German Shepherds usually have really coarse hair. Her hair is usually really shiny and really soft when she's clean because I use oils and I use Thieves Cleaner and I use the pet shampoo. All right, that's what I use on her when I bathe her. That's all I've used on her, and she has a really healthy, shiny coat. Alrighty, so if you have an older pet, I'm going to go ahead and mention this here, especially for dogs and cats. There is a supplement Young Living makes called Algaes, and I might be butchering that, but can you miss the carrier? Yes, Donna, you can. So what you can do, when the crate, you mean the carrier that the pet goes in, you absolutely can. Take a towel or a washcloth even, and you can mist that really good, stick it in there, mist the crate. What I would do before you just took the cat and you put her in there with that oil for the first time, because I've never been around it, mist it, and set it outside and let them get used to the smell before you would have to take them somewhere. So if that's something that they don't like, you can kind of be aware of it. Mist some things. If you're using lavender, lavender's a really good calming oil. So if you were using that, mist their bedding outside, because I know they stay outside. Mist that with that first. Get them used to the oil before you put them in a carrier with it. Make sure they're laying on their bedding or their whatever they normally lay on, and they don't mind the smell. Okay, don't just shove them in there with something new, because that can make them more anxious if they've never smelled it before. You know how dogs and cats can get if they have never smelled something before. So you just want to spray it first. Okay, get them used to the smell. All right, so for older dogs and cats, Young Living and people, Young Living make a supplement called Algaes. It's to help support healthy joint flexibility and motility. It also supports cartilage health. This little supplement is awesome. People can use it, dogs can use it, cats can use it, okay? For a person, it'll tell you the dose on the bottle. For a large dog, a large elderly dog that may have hip trouble, may need some extra joint support, they would take 2 capsules, okay? For a medium dog, 1. A small dog, half of a capsule. For a cat, you're going to fourth that capsule. They can take it, okay? They can take it internally. Yeah, Donna, you can spray grandmother's car. That'll work. Fish. All right, here's our next pet, fish. This is going to be really short and simple. Don't put oils in their water, and only diffuse around a closed tank. There you go. That's how you put oils on fish. Closed tank, and don't put oils in the water, okay? That's short and simple, all right? In the pet reference guide, there is a whole big section in here on fish. And they do talk about using oils for some funguses and things like that fish may get. I would be fish are very finicky, and I would be very, very careful. If you have a fish and you would like to look at this book, I would be more than happy to let you borrow it. But the biggest recommendation I could give you, don't diffuse around open tank, and don't put oils in the water. Okay, that's the easiest, simplest way to do it, because fish, you would have to dilute a lot. I mean, I'm talking teeny tiny amount of essential oil, okay? Plus you have to be really careful about your carrier, that sort of thing. So for fish, best to say don't add to water, diffuse around a closed tank, okay? Easiest way to do it. All right, birds. Alrighty. Birds are also kind of finicky, and kind of like cats, they don't like certain smells. With a bird, you want to dilute very heavily. And you don't want to apply to their feathers ever, because their feathers are very different texture. What you would do for a bird, and remember I had my little dropper earlier, you would take that carrier oil and you would mix it up. Let's say, I didn't write don't know if I had let's see, like 10 drops of a carrier oil to 1 drop of an essential oil. Mix it up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a toothpick, and the end of that toothpick, you would take it and put that oil on the bird's beak. That's how you would apply an essential oil to a bird, all right, according to that pet reference. You are not going to ever massage it into their feathers. It can cause them to clump and molt. If it's a flying bird, that can be harmful to them. You know, if it's one that you let fly around, it can be harmful to them, so you don't want to apply it to their feathers. The best way to introduce a bird to an essential oil is to spritz their perch or their cage without them in it. You know, spray their cage, let them get used to it. And if you're diffusing, you can diffuse in the same room as a bird, but have the bird be on the other side of the room, okay? Don't diffuse right underneath the bird. They don't like it, all right? So diffusing in the same room is safe as long as it's not right directly underneath it. And again, the only place you're going to apply it, according to the pet reference, is apply to their beak. You don't want to put it on their feathers, all right? And a great way to expose a bird to an essential oil without putting it on them, like I said, spray their perch. When they're sitting on it, they get the benefits of the essential oil. Some people, I know a lot of people use essential oils on their chickens. Spray their coop, spray their nesting area with them. That way they get the benefits of it without you spraying them, okay? Alrighty, reptiles are very like birds. You never want to cover a reptile in an essential oil. You don't want to do that. Their skin is very sensitive. You would dilute it the same ratio, like 10:1. Take a toothpick, put the toothpick drop on the pet where it's needed, okay? You can be very careful with lizards. They're kind of finicky too, okay? Very small amounts, all right? Horses and other large animals. Alrighty. This one, I wish I had, my horse was still alive. I'd go test him. I have a dog here on me because, you know, I was petting her. So, sorry. Horses and other large animals. You want to start around 10 drops. Now, horses and cattle and elephants, why it says elephants in that, it just cracks me up because, you know, everybody has a pet elephant. So, but it says elephants when you read the pet reference, they lump them all in there together. Horses and other large animals are a whole different ballgame. You don't dilute unless otherwise indicated, and that would be your hot oils, your wintergreens, your clove, your peppermints, that thyme, those sort of things. Those you would dilute. But otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to take, if you're applying, the best way to apply it to a pet if they need it for therapeutic benefits, and I'm going to do this, you guys can laugh, okay? You take their lip, you pull it out, and you put it on the inside. I remember growing up with my dad's horse, with my grandpa's cattle, anytime they applied any type of medication to a pet, to their cattle, to the horses, went inside their lip. Same way with essential oils. Sorry. Put it inside their lip, okay? And you can use around 10 drops. And horses and cattle, they like the spritzing, just like my dog. Big animals like that. That's cooling to them. Spray them down. Get a much bigger spray bottle and spray them down with it. You know, see how they respond to it. They like that. They like that. Put it on your hands, massage them. My horse absolutely loved, when I was growing up, to rub behind his ears. He loved that. You know, you could just sit, he'd let you stay there for hours and just pet him behind his ears. Good place to put oils, all right? If you had to apply to him, rub him behind the ears, all righty? So, research has shown that large animals respond well to having oils added to their drinking water. 1 drop per quart of water is the rule, okay? 1 drop per quart. And you want to make sure that whatever they're drinking out of is not plastic, because over time that oil can break down the plastic, okay? So you want to make sure it's not plastic. And always, always, always have another water option available, because what if they don't like the smell of it? What if they don't like the taste of it? Make sure they have another water option available. Don't let that be their only water source and they don't like it and they're not drinking water, okay? But, so find, you know, 1 drop per quart, and they usually like, Vanessa. So again, let's see, sorry, I was reading a comment, got sidetracked there. So always be aware, like I said, what the material is made out of, that the water is in, okay? Metal's good. My grandpa used to use an old, I don't remember if it was porcelain, an old bathtub, and, you know, things like that. As long as it's not plastic is good, okay? Alrighty, so again, the best thing to remember with pets is always dilute. Start low and go slow. All right, you say that for kids, for babies, for pets. Start low and go slow. See how they respond. Use your common sense, guys. Don't trap your pet in a room with your diffuser the first time you turn it on and you have your pet home. See how they respond to it. See what they do. And then a couple other questions I get. What if my pet acts like it don't like an oil? What if I use too much? Can you overdose? Not necessarily. You can cause skin irritation because you didn't dilute enough. And 90% of the time with a pet, when they react negatively to an essential oil, it's because of the smell. It's new, it's unfamiliar, or they just plain and simple don't like it. It's just like us. I will never, ever, ever, ever like the smell of tea tree oil. I don't like it. I use it. I love it for its uses, but I hate the smell of it, so I always cover it with something else. Digize, I just don't like the smell of it, so I use it with peppermint oil and cover up the smell. It's the same way with pets. They're just kind of like us in that. Sometimes they just don't like the smell of it. See how they respond. Use common sense. Don't trap them in a room with the diffuser. Always let them have a way out, okay? Let's see. Earlier I did talk about animals and their hair follicles, all right? And I want to touch on this, and I'm almost done. Let's see. Animals, of course, have more hair follicles than humans, obviously. I mean, you know, we're not covered in fur like they are. So basically, the more hair follicles per square inch of skin, the sensitivity to essential oil will increase, okay? And again, I got all this out of the Pet Reference, this big giant book right here, written by some vets in Young Living specific, okay? So, let me say this again. The more hair follicles per square inch of skin on a pet, the sensitivity to an oil will increase. That's why cats are more sensitive to essential oils, and lots of times that's why small dogs are more sensitive. Usually their fur coat isn't as coarse as larger pets, larger dogs, horses. I mean, you know, they're a lot coarser, so that's why you have to be careful. Hair density matters. The denser the hair, the more sensitive to an essential oil they are, the more you need to dilute, okay? All right. So I'm going to do a quick recap here. Best way to introduce a pet to an essential oil: wear it apply it to yourself first. You wear it. Let them get used to you, having it on you. Then spritz it. Spritz their bedding. Spritz their scratching post if it's a cat. Spritz their stand if they're a bird. Let them get used to it. Make sure they always have a way out. Don't ever lock them in a room with a diffuser and leave them there. I don't care if your pet has been around a diffuser their whole life. Sometimes it can just be overwhelming. Their sense of smell is so much stronger than ours that can just be overwhelming to them. Let them have a way out, guys. Not that it's harmful to them, not that it's going to hurt them, but get them a way out, okay? That would be like me turning on a diffuser and putting something in there I didn't, like my kid didn't like, and then locking them in the room with a diffuser. You'd be like, that's mean. Why would you do that? Same thing for your pet. Give them a way out, guys. Let them have a way out of the room, okay? So, all right. So again, wear it yourself. Dilute. Dilute is the key when you're applying an essential oil to a pet. Always dilute. How do you dilute? I'll show you again. You can take your carrier oil, put a couple drops of it in your hand, a drop of the essential oil, rub it together, and massage it into their fur. They get the benefit of the oil, they get the benefit of the human interaction, they get the benefit of, you know, just being loved on by you, all right? That's a great way to put an essential oil on a pet, okay? I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything here because, like I said, I think all of us were. We were all bombarded by that Facebook post because you guys were truly concerned about your pets, and you have a right to be. And this is a truly legitimate question, okay? And I'm not fussing at anybody that sent me that if you're watching this, any of you guys that did, because that's a true question, a good question. You want to make sure you're safe. And again, the first thing, make sure what you're using. Pure therapeutic essential oils, guys. That's the key, okay? Don't buy crap off Amazon and put it on yourself or your pets. I don't even care if it's a Young Living labeled something you bought off Amazon or eBay. Don't do it. Buy directly from the company. Buy from a distributor, because that's safe, okay? People take this stuff and they cut it and they sell it for profit all the time. It's illegal and it's unsafe, okay? That was the number one problem with that whole article that I found, was that she didn't do it right. She didn't do it safe. And maybe she just didn't know. And that wasn't, I'm not fussing at this lady. I am truly upset for her because someone didn't teach her. Someone didn't tell her the right way to do it. And I want to tell you guys the right way to do it, the real way to do it, the safe way, okay? So it's beneficial for you, beneficial for your pets, okay? I'm almost done, I promise. So the best way to get started with essential oils is get your starter kit. What your starter kit is, it comes with 11 bottles of oils. I just threw one on the floor. That's the great thing about live videos. They're not planned. You can just throw stuff everywhere. So it comes with 11 bottles of essential oils in this really pretty little kit. It comes with some sample packets of Nixia Red, that sort of thing. And that's in a diffuser, an awesome diffuser that has a year warranty. All of that is truly all you need to get yourself started with essential oils, your kids, and your pets. It's $160, and it gives you everything. Guys, you can't go to Bed Bath & Beyond and buy this high quality of a diffuser. If you do, it's going to cost you about $60, and it's not going to have a year warranty. I know, I've done it, okay? And you know what? They don't last as long, and they don't do as well. I promise, I've done it, okay? So, when you get your starter kit, there's 11 oils in there. I have this little cheat sheet right here. See this? This talks about the Animal Sense line. This is all of the Animal Sense oils that are pet specific and Living makes, not ones that come in your starter kit. You'd get those extra on your Essential Rewards. But on this back side, it talks about a lot of oils and how to use them for your pet. Talks about thieves oil, talks about frankincense, talks about lavender. You know what? All of those oils come in that starter kit, and I would, first of all, I'd make sure you had this paper so you know how to use them on your pet, and I would make sure you had a recipe book so you know how to use the oils yourself, okay? That is my biggest thing, is education. I don't want someone to spend this money and then this stuff sit on their shelf and it goes to waste. I want you guys to know how to use it and get the benefit of it. I want you to get the benefit of it for yourself, for your family, for your pets, okay? All right? And what I love about this paper, like even right here, it talks about to help with ear inflammation and like skin support on the inside of their ears, that sort of thing. And it talks tells you how to use Panaway for that. It tells you how to use Digize when your pet has an upset tummy and needs a little tummy support. I love this sheet. It's really, really good for pets. If you already have your starter kit and you're one of my downline, or even if you're not, I just want you guys to know how to use these safely. If you already have a Young Living starter kit and you want to know how to use these oils safely on your pets, send me a message. I will mail you one of these pamphlets, okay? I don't have any problem doing that, okay? Because I want you to know how to use them on your pets correctly. All right? So, if you want to order your starter kit tonight, here's what you can do. You can go to youngliving.com and you hit become a member. And what you're going to do is you're going to type in your information. It's going to ask you for a sponsor and an enroller. And you would that's where you'd put my ID, which I am looking because I always have it with me and I don't see it. And of course, why would I have it and be prepared? I mean, you know, really. So anyway, message me and get my sponsor and enroller ID because I don't have it right here in front of my face like I should. And you would put those in there, and then you would sign up and you would pick which kit you would want. They have a couple of different options with some really cool diffusers. Rainstone is one of my favorites. It's really pretty. It's clay. It changes colors. It goes to 8 hours. They have a dewdrop diffuser and an Aria diffuser, which is a glass top and looks like a spa diffuser. Guys, that one's awesome. A friend of mine has it. It plays music. It changes colors. It's kind of like you're in a spa. It's really nice. And she diffuses it safely around her cats, right, Nicole? So guys, Donna, I will get you one. I promise. I'll mail it to you tomorrow. So that's how you get started, guys. That's how you get started on this. I love essential oils. Like I said, I've been using them 3 years next month. So anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. I will hang around the next little bit. If you want me to help you with your diffuser, help you get started and order your kit, please message me. I would love to. If you have any questions, if you want to see any little excerpts from this book, I would be happy to help you with that. I'll be honest, this is a very expensive book, And normally I don't have any problem letting people borrow my things, but I'm kind of protective over this book because it's a pretty expensive one. But if you would like to look at it, you're welcome to come to my house and read this book, okay? I got it from Life Science Publishing. You're more than welcome to go there. It is www.discoverlsp.com. Life Science Publishing. They make awesome reference stuff, okay? Animals desk reference, okay? All right, and that's where all the information came from tonight. Again, I'm finished. You guys have any questions, want to order, message me. I would be happy to help you any way I can, okay? You have an awesome night. Thanks.